Hello everyone! My name is Jennifer Stay.
And I'm Steve Stay.
And this is Coloring Bliss. And today we have a little bit of a different video. I am going to be coloring and you get to see me create a coloring page. But we're going to talk about why I, Jennifer Stay, haven't colored in over 3 weeks.
Is that the longest you've gone without coloring in the last several years?
Yeah, it's been quite a creative drought. So we're going to talk about what triggered this drought and what I'm going to do to get over it and get back into the creative groove. And Steve's going to talk about what he does when he's down and needs to get back into the creative groove too. So before I can start coloring though, I want to introduce the third member of our video here, which is Rose, my sweet little Maltese dog, and she's sort of the center of this whole story. So let me show you sweet little Rose. This is sweet little Rose. She's 8 years old, and like I said, she's a Maltese dog, and she is my companion. She sits by me while I do art. She goes with me into the bathroom. She goes with us on rides, everything. She's like our little, we call her our white shadow. So, and we've decided that she thinks she's human because she has to do everything humans do. But ever so often, you know, she does things that reminds us that she's a dog, like getting into the trash. So on Mother's Day, what happened was I was holding her and I was going to put her down on the floor. I was sitting in a recliner and I was being really careful. I remember vividly thinking, be very careful, hold on tight to her, because sometimes she gets a little spazzy at the last second and tries to jump away, which is exactly what she did. She sort of kicked off my legs, I think, and landed really wrong. So wrong that she broke her back.
Yeah, I guess technically she burst a disc.
Yeah. The nurse did say broke her back at one point, and I was just like, oh my goodness. Anyway, she started howling this horrible sound that was just so tragic, and I tried to help her and she bit me really hard and bad, and that's when I knew things were really bad, because you know, she'll play bite, but she's never broken skin before, and she broke skin. I was bleeding everywhere and she was just not moving correctly, and I was just scared to death. I was screaming for help, and we scooped her up and took her immediately to the ER to have her checked, and that's when they discovered that she was paralyzed from the waist down, basically. So she didn't have any movement in her back paws or tail, and she was in so much pain. So the doctors dove right in, they got her pain under control, and the following day, on Monday, they did surgery and repaired the disc. And there was a lot of swelling on the, what's it called?
Spinal column or spinal cord?
The spinal cord. So they said it was going to take a lot of time for her to get back her movement in her hindquarters. So we did a lot of work. Everything stopped for Steve and I, because she's like our baby. And if you have a pet like this, you know, it just breaks your heart and you want to do anything you can. She spent 2 nights in the hospital, and then we brought her home. She had to wear the cone of shame. I'll put a little picture up of her poor little sad Rose wearing her cone of shame. Luckily, she only had to wear that cone for a couple days, and then we could move on to just wearing a little t-shirt like this, because she had a big incision with 11 staples in her back. I'm not going to share those pictures because I don't want to traumatize anybody else. Needless to say, now she's got her staples out. She's healing really well on her back. We still keep a little shirt on her at all times to keep it clean and safe. And yesterday was the first day we actually saw her run, like a proper run. She first got her movement back in her left paw, and I think then her tail started moving, and then her right paw sometimes were moving. So we've been doing some therapy with her, and now when she walks, she sort of walks like a crab, sort of sideways. Kind of think of like a rowboat. If you were to only row or primarily row on one side, you would start to drift. So that's kind of how she walks. I'm going to put some footage up of her walking in her drift mode that is just adorable and sweet. But now she's walking much more stable. She's still very clumsy because sometimes the legs just sort of stop working. But that's, I think, normal for this kind of recovery. If not normal, it's really good. The doctors were surprised and happy with how fast she's recovering. We've had so many people praying for us, and Steve and I have just dedicated ourselves for the last few weeks to caring for her and making sure she doesn't re-injure herself. So I wanted to reassure you that she's doing better, but this event was so intense and so upsetting that it's put me into a big funk, a depression. I've been down, I've been full of anxiety. The first day after she got hurt, I was so weepy, I couldn't stop crying. So it's really stopped me in my tracks, and I haven't been able to do any art. Now I've done one drawing, and that's this. And it took me several days to do this drawing because I just couldn't wrap my head around doing anything. You know how it is when you get in a funk. You can't make yourself, or it's really hard to make yourself do something. And while I'm coloring, Steve and I are going to share with you the things that we do to get ourselves up and going when life is hard like this. So hopefully you'll learn something. And what I'd like from you is for you to comment below. What do you do to get yourself going when you've been depressed or when life is really stressful and hard? I would love for you to share those things so that you can help me and Steve and our whole community, and we can lift each other up and get back into our creative mojo. Is that what we're going to do? Sure. That's my hope, is that today I'm getting myself back into the creative mojo. All right, let's start coloring. To start off my coloring project today, I've got my page printed on tan paper. And the reason I picked tan is because Rose's hair is white. And I thought it would really pop and have some good contrast as I'm coloring. To start out, I'm going to be using the Derwent Light Fast pencils because they are so good on tan paper and do some beautiful things. So that's what you see me doing right here and now, and it feels so good to get a color pencil back in my hand. So Steve, I have a question for you. What do you do when you feel down and like not doing anything, not even the things that you enjoy?
You know, when you experience feelings of, depression or just being down or anxious, I don't know why, but it always surprises me how hard it is to get going again.
Yeah. I think I was telling you earlier, it feels like you've been wounded physically by this stress or by the bad things that are happening. Yeah, for sure. And it is really hard for me personally to get going again. Like when I get in that, I have to force myself in a lot of ways, and it's not easy. So for me personally, what brings me a lot of joy is getting out in nature. Even just going for a walk, especially if it's a nice day. We have a beautiful community lake in our neighborhood, and I love walking around that lake, especially this time of year because you have all the goslings and the ducklings, and they're just so cute. It's fun to see all of the wildlife that's around that lake, and that always lifts me. And I know it lifts me. And even when I know it lifts me, I remember the other day, I'm like, just get out there and walk, come on, because I was just like, I don't feel like it. And so I just forced myself to put my shoes on and just get out there. And then of course, once I'm out there, everything starts to lift. That stress starts to lift. And as I see these, how can you not be happy when you see cute little ducklings? Baby ducks. Well, and I think it's scientifically proven, isn't that the sunshine and of course the physical movement, all of that will help. For sure. And then when I get back, I'm usually in a better mood, I'm happier. And at that point, I try to take advantage of that. Because it can set back in again. Oh yeah,
later on.
Really
so
fast.
I try to. For me, I also have to avoid like social media or anything that could have negative titles.
Yeah.
Things coming at me. I just try to avoid that, and then just get right to work at what I need to do, and then I usually feel a little bit better, and I'm able to continue.
Yeah. Well, and it's been hard for the last few weeks because when you come back into the house after this uplifting walk, here's little wounded Rose and your wife who is already chronically ill, and now she's even more down. And so it's been, that's why I think it's been 3 weeks since I've been able to color. It's because of that. It's just like a loop that keeps building up. So
Oh yeah, I mean for sure. I mean you have been in a lot more pain.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it's because of the stress of what happened. We know that stress can cause things to get worse, especially if you have an underlying illness or something like that.
Yeah. And that brings me to one thought I wanted to talk about, and that's, remember I talked about how Rose bit me on that first day when she got hurt because she was in so much pain, and that little bite, let me show you here on my finger, is still red and sore, and I can't still put full pressure on this finger. It's just going to take time to heal, and I think it's really important for me personally to acknowledge when something big like this happens, or when there's layer upon layer of stress hitting me, that is like a physical wound, because it can, what's the word, exasperate? Is that the right word?
Exacerbate.
I can't say that word. It can make things worse. So it will trigger pain flare-ups. It can trigger migraines in me. It can trigger more the need to sleep more, which all of those, you add all that up on top of what was going on, and you get more and more pushed down and down, and you can't, I couldn't pull myself out. It was really hard. So there's another thing Steve and I do, and I am so grateful because he pulls me out of the house and we go for rides. And that's been helping a lot too, because that gets her out of the house too. She's been enjoying a little ride, although we have to be really careful with her where we put her, and yeah, but she's...
Oh, she loves it.
She loves a good ride.
yeah, so we'll take these, 2-hour trips. We're surrounded by beautiful mountains here in Utah, and really it's our happy place for sure.
Yeah.
If we can get up in the Quakies and the pine, and just
find
the mountains.
Some water.
Yeah. So that's what we do. We've been considering camping. There's a couple places we'd like to go camp, but we don't know if we can get our RV up there, so we take this time to just drive up there and check it out and see, is it a place where we could camp potentially. But it's also just a nice day trip to go up and sit by a lake and
feel that sun and the cool breeze. It's been really good. So thank you, Steve, for, I don't think I've thanked you for that, for pulling me out of the house and doing that. And the other thing he did for me yesterday, I was craving, what was it, tacos and French fries?
Yeah.
So he takes good care of me. He went and got me tacos and French fries. And it was very good comfort food and helped me a lot. See, she's doing so good. She couldn't do this before because she didn't have any strength in her back legs. The whole camera's shaking.
Yeah, it shakes everything, but it's like, go ahead, shake it.
Yeah, we just love seeing her move like this, and she's putting weight on. See there, her legs kind of went down like that. That's that weakness that we're trying to help her with. She's lost a little weight too, which I think is the doctors were more worried about her gaining weight.
Yeah.
So we're okay with that because she needed to lose just a tiny bit of weight anyway, and she's eating really well, better than she has in a long time. Look at her go.
Yeah,
wow.
You can see the
she's,
back right leg.
This is the one that she's struggling with. Did you see that? That was awesome. That was so good. Yeah, you're a good girl. It's hard, huh? Yeah, it's hard. She's so sweet. I'm just like a mama. I just watch her move and this is the first, don't fall, and
this is the first little dog we've had, and I had no idea how attached we would get to this little thing.
Yeah, she's like a part. She knows all of our routines, our bedtime routine, our morning routines, and she just inserts herself into every routine we're doing. Huh? Yeah, you're that important.
Yeah, it was very upsetting.
Yeah.
Very hard to watch her like that. But it's also, I think, what's, another part of lifting this is sometimes I think it just takes time.
Yeah, you gotta let yourself heal. And I think that's what I've been doing a lot of, is giving myself permission to be intentionally still and quiet. And I just sit with Rose on the couch and I let myself not do anything productive. Like, this is time for me to heal, because like I said before, it's like a mental wound that shows up physically, and I needed time to heal. So I think for me, that's one thing that I've told myself: intentionally take this time. Don't feel like you need to work. Don't try to accomplish anything. Just sit here and heal and rest. So that's one thing I've been doing, is being kind to myself and telling myself, no, it's okay for you to feel down and need time to just be still and heal for a little while. But it has come to a point now that I need to push myself and get going again. So my plan was to imagine a ball rolling, and you know, that first was it inertia to get the ball moving. That first push is really hard. Like Steve says, you have to just push yourself and get your shoes on. Well, for me, it's push yourself and get up there in that art studio and just touch your supplies. So I did that about a week ago. I came up and I straightened up and organized and did some things, and I thought maybe that would trigger a desire to do some art, but it didn't. It was the opposite. It wore me out really fast, and I just needed to leave the room. There's something about this that is really difficult for me. So I gave myself permission. You did something in the studio, feel good about it, and now leave and go rest some more.
You know, and I think that can be the danger of turning a passion or a hobby into a business.
Yeah.
You know, because for me, if I can get out and take photos or take video, you know, I especially enjoy video. And for me, again, it's nature, it's landscapes, it's wildlife. You know, if I can get out and do that, it just brings me so much joy and can really help me. And it's nice that it isn't for work.
Yeah. It's truly a hobby that just feeds your soul. Where for me, I've tied my hobby into a business, which I love.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's a great gift that I can do both my hobby and make money and support our family together with this. But it does become, it's a job. So when I come in here, it feels like a job.
Yeah, I know there are times when you have to very intentionally tell yourself, this is just for fun. Yeah. Don't turn the camera on.
Yep.
Just
sit here and enjoy the way the paint moves on the paper, or you don't have to, have your makeup on and look just right and say just the right things. Just do some art. Yeah. It's my job. So there are times when I have to boss myself to get into that art studio and do a video. And almost every time what happens is I feel more uplifted. I feel more creative. I feel better. And it was worth that bossing around to get myself going. So yes, there are disadvantages, but I would say 90% of having art as my business is an advantage for me as a chronically ill person. It gets me going, something to wake up to every day, and this community is so uplifting, and I feel like my life has worth because I get to share my passion with all of you. And so I think that's why coming into the art studio has been hard for me over the last little while. But here I am now doing some art, and I'm getting the ball rolling. That's my goal, is to get the ball rolling and then not let the ball stop. So I'm not going to have any great grandiose plans of I'm going to do art every single day. I'm not going to do that to myself, but I guess I need to come up with a goal. What my goal should be. Is it every other day I need to get into the art studio to start out with? So I'll think about that and make myself a achievable goal so I don't set myself up for failure, and I can be kind to myself and still give myself time to heal. And just like my finger isn't all the way healed yet, there's no way that my soul and my emotions aren't healed.
The truth is, it was traumatic, and there's some of that trauma to get over.
Yeah, I need time to
heal from,
deal with it and think it through. So here's my finished coloring page of Sweet Little Rose on tan paper. Love the way it turned out. Can't wait to hang it up on the back wall. It's just so good to get back into doing something creative and enjoy my tools and enjoy the artistic process. I love doing art. Now, don't forget that this page is free for a limited time, so follow the link in the video description. Come and download it, print it out, and do some coloring for yourself. Hopefully, if you're in a slump or you just need to be more creative, that this download will be helpful to you and you can be like me. Get back in the creative mojo. So we will let you know how Rose progresses as she continues to heal. She's got another doctor's appointment with the surgeon that did the surgery to see how she's doing neurologically. That's some big words for a little dog. So we'll keep you posted, and just want to encourage you to comment below about what you do when things are hard in your life and how you get back into creativity. We're just so grateful for all of our community. Thank you for all of your support, and don't forget, subscribe, hit the like button, share, comment, all those good things that make YouTube love our channel. And from Rose and me and Steve, I hope you have a wonderful, colorful, blissful day. Bye-bye, everyone. Say bye. Bye. Come and get this adorable little coloring page printed out and get some creative mojo going in your life too. Let's get our creative balls rolling. That sounded terrible.
That'll be our new tagline.
Okay, let's try that again.